Welcome everybody to today's topic. I want to talk a little bit about. I think I titled it something to the effect of how can you impose a process of tshuva, right? How is there some type of mandatory process to do tshuva components? So I want to kind of analyze what are the key components of tshuva according to the Rambam, and we're going to see something what I think is actually pretty neat. Now, there's a right way and a wrong way, believe it or not, to actually do tshuva. Can you believe it? There's like a wrong way to repent. Like if you want to do tshuva, if you do it the wrong way, like it doesn't count, it doesn't matter, which is pretty shocking on many different levels. But especially if I were to tell you what is the most important about tshuva, you'd be pretty shocked. So I'm going to tell you the 4 parts about tshuva. And I think you're very familiar with it because they're quite famous. And guess what they are? The 4 parts of tshuva are: 1, take a look at the bottom of the page that I have for you. It says here, Umahia tshuva, hu sheya'azava choteh choto. You have to abandon the sin. Sometimes we refer to it as azivat achet. Next, v'yasuru b'machshavato, v'yigmor b'libo shelo ya'aseh od. So not only do you abandon, you stop doing it. So I like eating cheeseburgers. Stage 1 is, I remove myself from cheeseburgers. Yes, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to go to the past and regret my past. So it's azivat achet. It's I regret that I did it. I'm going to regret my past. That's the next line. Yinachem al avar. Right? So I'm going to be very, very distraught that I did it. I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to stop doing it. And then to conclude, v'tzarich lehizvadot bisvatav. And then I have to actually do vidui bisvatav. I actually have to say the words. I have to confess. Okay? So these are the 4 components of tshuva. Again, just to reiterate: 1, you got to abandon the sin. 2, you got to regret the past. And the next one is you have to say, oh, by the way, in the future, I'm not going to do this again. I'm not going to do this anymore. And also what you need to do is you need to confess. So here's my question. Which one of those 4 components is a little bit different than the other 3? I'll repeat. Regret in the past. I'm not going to do it anymore. And by the way, I'm making a resolution. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. And I'm going to confess my sin. So what would you say would be, in your opinion, the most important component of those 4 parts? You got to do all of them for tshuva. You got to do all 4. What would you say is like, put it this way, which one of those 4 is the mitzvat aseh? Which one is the biblical obligation? You'd say abandon your sin, right? What else? What else might you argue might be the biblical obligation? Which one of those is like, stop doing it. You're saying stop doing it, right? Very good. Stop doing it. Abandon the sin. Stop doing it. That makes sense to me. What else might you say? And why?
In your heart.
I'm never going to do this again. That's like being repentant. I'm repenting. Good. What else might it be?
Did you mention Kabbalah?
Kabbalah, which one? Atid, right? I ate a cheeseburger today. That's it, I'm done with it. No, I'm cheeseburgerless. I'm going cheeseburgerless tomorrow. I'm not getting a cheeseburger. Every day I've driven by McDonald's, ordered a cheeseburger, that's it. I am stopping. I'm changing my ways. I'm a real person. I'm a Baal Tshuva. Right? You know what's amazing? None of those are the answer. Look at this. Are you ready? What is the mitzvah say? Take a look, everybody, at the middle box. Halacha Aleph, Hilchot Tshuva of the Rambam. You know it's underlined, so it has to be important. Vidui ze mitzvat aseh. What? Vidui is the commandment. What's vidui? Confession. Hashabnu bagadnu gazalnu dibarnu dafi achet shchatan fanecha. Right? That's the vidui. Confession. Wait a second. It's not stopping to eat cheeseburgers? It's not saying I won't drive anymore on Shabbat? Stopping to drive? Regretting that you drove? Not driving again? What's going on here? Why is the biblical obligation, says the Rambam, Vidui mitzvah to say. What about abandoning the sin? No, that's a different halacha. That's important, it's integral, but it's the next halacha. If you want to know what is the biblical obligation, it's vidui. Why? Question number one. Why does Rambam clearly make a distinction between the mitzvat asay, the vidui, and the other components of tshuva? Why? Why is vidui the biblical obligation? What's the message? What's the rationale? And I can't blame the Rambam. The Rambam's going to say, don't what you want from me. It's what God says. It's what it says in the Torah.
What's the source for it?
For what? Oh, great question. Where does he get it from? We'll read it inside. Let's read the whole Rambam Hilchot Tshuva inside. Let's read together. Cool. This is, again, I want to tell you, the Rambam wrote Hilchot Tshuva. Right? I'm sure you've heard of that before, right? 10 chapters. Many people say 10 chapters correspond to the 10 days of Aseret Yemei Tshuva. What is the first day? First day Rosh Hashanah. Kol mitzvot Tshuva Torah. Bein aseh, ben lo taseh. All the mitzvot. Doesn't matter, positive or negative. Im avar adam al achat mehem. If a person transgresses one of them. Ben bizadon ben bishkaga. Doesn't matter if it was with intention or unwillingly. So maybe I knew today was Shabbat, but it doesn't matter, I'm driving my car anyways. Or I woke up, I drove my car. Oh my goodness, I thought today was Sunday, it's really Shabbos. That's Zadon Shaga. It happens. Kishayas tshuva, a person wants to tshuva. V'yashuv mechato. And they want to, v'yashuv, they want to alter their sin, they want to change their sin. Chayav lihidvadot. That is the first thing. The Rambam says, you want to know how to become Bal Tshuva? Vidui chayav lihidvadot. What about stop doing the sin? He doesn't even talk about that now. The first thing is, lifnei ha'el baruch hu shenemar, and here's your pasuk that you wanted. Ish o isha ki yaseh da 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 da, v'hidvadu et chatatam asher asu. It's a pasuk in the Torah. V'hidvadu, vidui, they did vidui, they confess their sin that they did. Vidui dvarim, confession of words. Vidui ze mitzvat aseh. The vidui, the confession, is the positive biblical commandment. Can you tell me if it's okay? What's the language? What's the syntax? Ana Hashem. So ana might not mean please. Ana could also mean now. Right? Right now. Chatas yavisi pashat defanecha. Right? Or it could also mean alas. Right? God, I sinned, I transgressed. What's the difference in all these things? It's not for now. It's written. The Rav Tzvi talks about no tshuva. The fanecha in front of you. Asidi kafakach. I did X and Y. I did a chi. Nichamti boshti b'masai. I regret, I'm embarrassed what I did. I'm never going to return to it again. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the essence of confession. Whoever increases, whoever elongates, whoever extends, vidui, umarich binyan hazeh, it's praiseworthy. By the way, just as an aside, you know the only other place in the entire Mishnah Torah the Rambam says, and whoever does a lot of this, Arezim Meshubach, way more famous than this one. Excellent. Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim. Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, Yetzias Mitzrayim, Okot Laila, the whole night, Exodus, living in Egypt. More the merrier. And so, too, is confession. Wow. Why is confession? Why is confession the component that the Rambam says? There's no end. The more the merrier. Do it for 25 hours straight, and we do it pretty close to 25 hours straight on Yom Kippur. I mean, not quite. Right? But think about it. Think how often we do vidui. We do vidui, you must do vidui before Yom Kippur starts. And mincha.
6 times.
Right? But, well, okay, it's even more. I'll tell you why it's even more. Because you got vidui of mincha and erev Yom Kippur, which you got to do before Sudam HaSecond. One. Then you do vidui again by Mariv. Then you do vidui again by Mariv. They don't chazor the shots by Mariv, but there's still, the chazan does stuff, right? There's like a slichat, really slichat, and in the slichat of the night of Yom Kippur there's vidui. Then you got shacharit, silent, and the chazor the shots there's the vidui, but then you got by, okay, interesting, musaf. Then you have by mincha. than you have by Ne'ilah, both in the silent and the public. Now, Ne'ilah is shorter. The vidui by Ne'ilah is a little bit shorter. You don't do the full vidui, you just do part of it. So how many is that? Well, there's 5. It's very easy. 5 tefillot on Yom Kippur, multiplied by 2 is 10. Mincha on Yom Kippur is 11. 11 times you do vidui on basically Yom Kippur. That's a lot of viduis. Okay? By the way, I get it. Just this Rambam alone, 11, do 20. Why not? Rambam says, Memeshubach. V'chein, Bali Chator Vashamad Ba'ish Mevinu Komenehem. And the Rambam says, if let's say you're in the base of Mikdash. Forget the year 2014. Let's say you're living 2,000 years ago. And you want to bring a korban. When you would bring your korban, says the Rambam, your korban chatat, your korban hasham, you'd bring it on your shgigigat or azodono. So again, depending on why you brought it, on purpose, ein mitkaper lehem bekorbanatam. There's no kapara, there's no atonement with their offering. Ad sheyasu tshuva. To do tshuva. V'yidvadu vidui dvarim, and you got to do vidui. As it says, v'yidvadu asher chata lehem. V'chein kol mechuve mita beitin. If a person, Beitin said, that guy, skila. The Beitin paskins, the Beitin says, the person is chayav skila. Right? Where am I? V'mechuve malkut, or a person gets malkut. Why would someone get malkut for? What do you do to be chayav malkut? You transgress anybody know? A mitzvah lo taseh. So you ate chelav. You ate blood. You stole. All those things you're chayav malkut for. Anytime you transgress the lo taseh. Ein mitkaper lahem b'mitatan. Even if you're chayav mitah, there's no kapara for you. Or b'likiatan. Even if you get malkut, there's no kapara by death or malkut. Rather, I choose to tshuva v'adu. You gotta do tshuva. You gotta do vidui. I punch my friend in the head. Punch him in the face. I break his nose. I smash his toes or above his ear. I paid him back. I have to pay him. There's 5 things you got to pay to me when you punch him. Right? I paid them all. I've written the check. Doesn't matter. You didn't do vidui. On Abi Shalem lo, you paid him what you owed him. Eino mitkaper, there's no kapara achit vadu. You got to do vidui. V'yashuv lasod kazev olam shnemar mikol chatat adam. The Torah says every single sin must have vidui. Wow. Vidui. What's going on here? Okay. The other stages, which is, by the way, halacha, which is the second parak, and halacha ben gimel, that's what you have in front of you. The other stages of tshuva are, think about this, what is the common denominator with all of these things? For example, mahi tshuva, what's tshuva? So interesting, there's 2 components. There's tshuva and there's vidui. You got to do both. But what is tshuva? Tshuva is yazav achote chato, abandon the sin. Yigmor belibo shleisad, resolve yourself, you're never going to do it again. Regret the past. What's interesting about all those 3 things? They're really all the same, aren't they?
Like just your thoughts are not really.
No actions. I'm stopping. There's no very good. Meaning I'm stopping what I did in the past. Meaning I regret the past. I should say sorry. I regret the cheeseburger I ate yesterday. I'm not eating the cheeseburger today, and I'm not going to eat a cheeseburger tomorrow. It's really all the same thing, but in different time zones. It's the time zone of past, present, future. But it's the same thing. That's called not sending anymore. I'm not eating a cheeseburger. I'm not eating the cheeseburger in the past. I regret the past. I'm not getting the cheeseburger tomorrow because I'm excited about myself not to do it tomorrow. And the cheeseburger that I usually would eat now, I'm not eating. So to some extent, it's I'm not doing the sin anymore. I'm not doing the vera. Past, present, future. It's all the same component, just in different time periods. So really, there's 2 major components of tshuva, isn't there? There's tshuva, which I'm not going to do it again. in the past, present, future. And I'm going to confess. I'm going to do vidui. Either if it's been Adam L'Chaveiro, I got to say the vidui to that person. Listen, Bob, I got to tell you something. Or if it's a cheeseburger, it's confession to God. Vidui to Hashem. Now, what then is vidui? Yeah.
Maybe it's like if you're splitting up your Teshuva process between like Sormei Ra and V'asei Tov. Like Sormei Ra is the.
Why is there Asei Tov and vidui?
Because maybe not. Ben Adam L'Makom, not necessarily, but when it's Ben Adam L'Chavero.
Yeah, but it has to work together, right? When I'm confessing. By the way, let's go back. Vidui is between who and the tshuva of past, present, future of not doing the act is between who and who. Is it? It's me and me. It's interpersonal.
You have your own milk, right?
Yeah. It's interpersonal, right? It's between me, it's what I'm doing. And I'm not gonna do it. Then I do vidui. Now vidui is not between me and myself, is it? Vidui can only be done between me and the person I injured. It's intrapersonal. If it's against another person or God. But I can't think vidui in my head, can I? I must express my vidui. I have to express my confession, either the person that I injured or to God. And that's what's fascinating about vidui and interesting. What's the mitzvah to say? The mitzvah to say is not the interpersonal part. It's the intrapersonal part. Isn't that interesting? What is the mitzvah? The mitzvah is to talk to somebody, to confess to somebody. Again, person or God. I think, again, in order to really understand this, I want to even show you another fascinating component of what's happening. Take a look at this. Here we go. Look at Halacha Gimel, please. What is Halacha Gimel? Halacha Gimel in the Rambam says the following. Kol ha-mitzvah bidvarim. A person who does vidui. Oh, I'm so sorry I punched you in the face. I'm so sorry I stole from you. I'm so sorry I made fun of you. That's vidui. Or God, again. Sorry God, I ate a cheeseburger. Didn't keep Shabbos. V'lo gamar b'libo lazov. So here's what I do. I walk over to Eliana and I say, Eliana, I'm so sorry I punched you in the face. I'm so sorry I called you a whatever. But in my mind, look what it says. Lo gamar b'libo lazov. I'm just saying it. They're words. I'm doing the mitzvah to say. I'm doing the vidui. But I didn't gamar b'libo lo yazov. I'm like, I'm so sorry I did it. I'm going to do it again tomorrow because you are right? So, if I just do vidui, but the words are empty, so I do this. I don't mean them. Just exercise. Probably not very good exercise either, right? It's not. I don't think beating your heart is considered cardio, right? I got to be careful. I got a lot of kinesiology students here. So it's not just enough to say things, to apologize, to do vidui. You got to also what? Resolve. Say, I'm not going to do it again. I left my phone in my office, so just let me know when I'm 10 minutes away. What time is it?
12:55.
Perfect. Look at the analogy that the Rambam makes. So here we go. A person who apologizes, a person who does vidui, a person who confesses, but doesn't resolve themselves to what? To stop sinning, is like hareze dome letovel v'sheretz biyado. I walk into the mikvah holding on to a sheret. So here we go. All right, I have an insect in my hand, and I'm walking into a mikvah. Now, a sheret is metame. It causes tuma. What's the reason why a person goes to the mikvah? It's come dahor. So a person who walks into the mikvah holding on to a sheret is Ein hatfila mu'elet lo. Does the tefillah help? No, I'm holding on to sheretz. Holding on to a creepy, crawly, disgusting thing. What do I need to do in order to have the mikvah help me? What must I do with the sheretz that's in my hand? I have to let it go. That's exactly what the Rambam writes. Ad sheyashlich hasheretz. All I need to do is take the sheretz. I won't do this because I'm holding a sitter. And abandon it. Throw it away. Cast it away. Then the mikvah is wonderful. Okay. If it's strictly fratachet, you actually have to see what you did wrong, and he brings you an example. What's a pasuk in the Torah? Can we go through? Let's go through this together for a second, okay? Here we go. I want you to help me out here. What is the sheretz in the mashal? What's the nimshal of the sheretz? The chait, right? So again, if a person apologizes, a person does vidui. So I go to Liana and I say, Liana, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm doing the vidui. What's vidui compared to? Tefillah. But I'm holding on to the sheretz. What's my intent? I'm still holding on to the sin, the chait. I'm still going to punch Liana in the face and make fun of her. Tomorrow, maybe 2 days from now, I'm not letting... You hear the analogy? So if I just apologize and say, listen, I'm so sorry, I did the vidui. I went into the mikvah. But if I don't abandon the sin, if I don't resolve myself, stop sinning, then it's like I'm the mikvah holding on to sheretz. That's pretty useless. Isn't that a neat analogy? So you can apologize to somebody, but interesting. What's the mitzvah, though? The mitzvah, how do you become tahor? You gotta go to the mikvah. How do you do? You gotta do vidui. So that's true. If you hold on to the sheretz, if you hold on to the sin, so is stopping to sin part of tshuva? How would you better define stopping to sin? Meaning resolving not to do it again. That would be almost a condition. You follow? Vidui appears to be tshuva. Tshuva is vidui. But in order for the tshuva to help, in order for the mikvah to help, in order for the I'm sorry, Eliana, for what I did, I got to stop doing it. It's a precondition. So
it's like the fine print.
Yeah, it's like the parameters, like the condition. Okay, you need to go to the mikvah. True. But if you go to the mikvah holding on to a sheretz, then the mikvah is useless. So the conditions, the parameters, the prequel, the conditions are you got to get go that sheretz. You got to stop the sin. You stop the sin. Those are you've met the conditions. Condition 1 met. Condition 2 met. You've met them. Great. Now you can go to the mikvah. Now you can actually go to the Yana and say sorry. I ask you why. Why is it that tshuva has these components to it? Why is it that the conditions of tshuva are just conditions, but the tshuva is the essence? The mitzvah taseh, it's the essence. Mitzvah taseh is the essence. Why? Because what's tshuva really all about? Based on this, what is the essence of tshuva?
Throw it away.
No, it's not. That's the condition. What's the essence of tshuva? Express it. Vidui. Repair the relationship. Talk it out. If all you do is think it in your head and stop to do something, you might have stopped driving on Shabbat. You might have stopped eating a cheeseburger. You might have stopped punching people in the face. But that's not tshuva.
Because you never said I'm sorry.
Because you never said I'm sorry. The purpose of tshuva is to repair relationships. Everything else you just have to do. It's a condition. You can't repair a relationship if you don't mean it. So we see here that tshuva fundamentally is about relationship building. So if I want to fix my relationship, of course I have to stop sinning. That's a given. But I actually have to do something to the person whose relationship I injured or severed or damaged, whether that's God or a fellow human being. It's not just enough. I regret that cheeseburger. That's not good enough. You got to actually then say, "Achei shchatati b'macha b'mishta." Okay? So tshuva, I think we see here something fascinating. Tshuva is about fixing, repairing, enhancing relationships. Because when you sin, ultimately, when you do a chet, it doesn't matter if it's on purpose, not on purpose, or da-da-da-da-da. It is essentially about hurting, staining, harming a relationship. Okay. What's the root word of vidui? What's it? So it's vav, dalid, hey. There's another shoresh that you're much more familiar with. It's the exact same shoresh.
Modim.
Modim. Excellent. What does modim mean? Thank you. Gratitude. We see here that the word gratitude and confess have the same root word. Well, in Hebrew. It doesn't work well in English. Why? Why is it? How do you say modim in English? To
Thanks.
thanks. What other words sometimes can be used?
Oh.
Ani modeh.
Acknowledge.
Acknowledge. Wonderful. So thanks. When you acknowledge somebody, what in fact are you doing? You ever, if I acknowledge, modeh ani. Oh, modeh lefenecha. What does modeh lefenecha mean? What? Aren't you acknowledging God? Isn't what you say the first in the morning? Was Rabbi Sachs say? What's modani? Modani. Modani, here we go. On waking, our first thought should be, I thank you. To thank. But when you acknowledge someone, you're thanking them. That's what you're doing. The word acknowledge and to thank and to confess are all the same word. Why is that? When you acknowledge somebody, what are you in fact doing? When you thank somebody, what are you in fact doing?
You're acknowledging and admitting that you need them, or that there's.
You need them. You're lacking something, and you need them. I need your relationship. I value your relationship. You provide something to. By the way, whether it's as simple as you brought me a coffee, thank you. I'm saying that my relationship with you, there's an enhancement in my well-being because of our relationship. Todah. Right? That's what you're saying. I could have gotten a coffee myself. I have 2 legs. Thank God I can get the coffee myself. But you brought it to me. Thank you. Ani modim anachnu. Gratitude. When you have gratitude to somebody, you're thanking them. You're acknowledging they did something. Generally speaking, why do you thank somebody? They did something for you. Right? Maybe it could be they're just alive. They smile. They gave you something. They did something. They just are. So that, you see here, it's all about the word. Vidui is a relationship-building word. We see it in the word. It's like a thank you. I'm an acknowledgement. When you do vidui, you're acknowledging that you need that person. You're acknowledging that you value that relationship. You're thanking them for that relationship. You're thanking them for being there. You're thanking them for who they are and what they are. That's vidui. So it's a totally different way. It's not, oh, I feel guilty. I feel bad. I need some exercise in Yom Kippur because I can't go to the gym, so I gotta just bang my chest. Right? We see that vidui primarily is about this relationship, acknowledging, thanking, reaching out to, repairing, enhancing. Condition! Abandon the sin, or else it's just words, meaningless. So now we can understand when the Rambam says these are the conditions of tshuva. This is tshuva. Tshuva without it would be meaningless. And that's why the mitzvat aseh is the repairing of a relationship, reaching out in the relationship. Not the conditions, but the essence. Of course you got to drop the sheretz. You go to mikvah, of course you're going to drop the sheretz. Of course you're going to stop eating cheeseburgers. That's a given. But it's still not enough. Because we've got to repair a relationship. We have to acknowledge, we have to thank, we have to reach out, we have to be doing. So it's a very different way of, I think, looking at what's going on, and it makes a lot of sense with based on the Rambam I think wanted to teach us. So I guess our bracha is really our hope and our prayers is that we have to be conscious of that. That's always stage one, and to really recognize that the ultimate purpose of this time of year is not just to stop doing things, right? Shumirah necessarily, but it's the aseh tov. It's the trying to enhance and work on and thinking about those relationships and improve them and enhance them, because that is really what tshuva, ultimate tshuva is. So of course it's stopping in the past, present, future. It's a given, but tshuva is way more than that. And that is why we see an amazing Ein Yisrael Nigalin Ela B'tshuva. The Gemara says, the Jewish people only redeemed when there's tshuva. What does that mean? We see that tshuva is way more than just doing what's right. It's seeking and enhancing relationships and fixing those relationships. That's why tshuva is so powerful. Rav Kook talks about how tshuva is one of the most powerful essence in Orthodox tshuva. Why tshuva is so fundamental and so powerful, right? Well, what is it? And the reason is because if you understand what tshuva really is, it's about ultimately trying to not just do the right thing, but it's to enhance and to develop everything that we have around us. Okay? So our bracha should be that we should be zocheh to do proper tshuva, proper relationship building and enhancement of everyone in our lives, and of course including HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. And if that's the case, that's why Yom Kippur is transformative. Yom Kippur is a transformative moment. There's nothing like having a great Yom Kippur, not because you scream loudly, not because you have a bruise right by your chest, but rather it's because when you really can dig deep, you can really able to produce something which is ultimately amazing. And everyone knows there's nothing like fixing a relationship. Everyone knows if there's something that's wrong, there's a machloket, there's argument, there's tension, and that gets fixed, and people truly embrace, everyone knows that's a magical moment. And you feel it. That's the idea behind Yom Kippur as well. So we should always zocheh to have that in all of our relationships and going forward.